in your face, and the whole world is on your case. I would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and stars appear, and there's no one there to dry your tears, I would hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I know that from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. Da-dee-dee-da-da-da, and so on, and so on. Of course, it is the wonderful, wonderful song by Mr. Bob Dylan. People don't realise Bob Dylan wrote that song. The reason they don't realise he wrote it is because it has been covered over 450 times by various artists all over the world, including Billy Joel, Adele, who else have we got? Garth Brooks did it, Rod Stewart did it, Neil Diamond did it, Ed Sheeran did it. So it crosses the generations, this song. So even if even if you remember the original version, all the youngsters will know it as well. So it's a really good one to have in your repertoire. Now, I've painstakingly written it out in my idiot-proof way. So if you would like to download your stuff by clicking the blue link in the description box below this video. Now, the description box, if you don't see it immediately, what does that mean for you people who are new to all this stuff? Well, it's where I say what the song's about. And look below the vid, you'll see a couple of lines maybe, and then the word more. So if you don't see the blue link straight away, click the more button and you'll see it. It's like a Google blue link thing. You can't miss it. And if you click that, you will get all your paperwork, the chords for the verses and the chorus. And of course, more importantly, once you've got your head around those, you will have the full layout, the whole song, all right? And as I say, I've put it in a way that you can't cock it up. If you buy this stuff in a book, it assumes you know where to change chord and all that, and why would you if you started? And this is a Wednesday, not a beginner's lesson, but it's it's for people who haven't played as much. All right, so do that first. Now I'm going to play it with a capo on at the 5th fret. I'm going to use the chords or the shapes G and so on. We'll get to that in a minute. Why would I play it with a capo? Well, he plays it, Dylan played, the original key is in C, and he plays it in C, but I want to be able to, if I was to play the C down there and some of you wanted it lower, you can't do that, okay? So I'm going to use the capo at the 5th fret, and also I love the sound. If you're playing with a G shape, you get more notes, more strings to hit, and we want to get that beautiful descending bass line going. And of course, the more strings you've got to play with, the more stuff the better it sounds, basically. Right, so first of all, before we go any further, thank you to all my Patreon platform subscribers who bring these videos to you, because without them I wouldn't have time to do them. So thank you to all my Patreon supporters out there. If you want to help keep this free content going, then there's a link below the video, again underneath the link that's for this stuff, and you'll see a link to Patreon if you want to help keep all this free content going. But for those people who just want to do a thumbs up, that would be perfectly acceptable. Thank you for that. Or you can donate to my tea and coffee fund by clicking the little, there's an icon down below, I think, with a thanks button. So you click that and you can buy us a cup of tea or whatever. It always comes in handy. So let's begin. These are the shapes we're going to play. Have a look. By now you will have downloaded your stuff. I'm going to refer to the shapes, not the key. We know it's in a different key, but the capo's on. But I'm going to refer, if I say G, I'm referring to the shape. All right? There's our first shape of G. Now I always like to play my G like this. You don't have to, but I like to do it. Then we're going to play a D. But you'll notice on your paperwork it's got a slash and an F sharp behind it. What does that mean? Well, I want you to try if you can. Now don't worry if you can't do it, it doesn't matter. It's better if you can, but it's not the end of the world if you can't. put your thumb over the top and you play an F sharp bass, because we're looking for a descending bass line. G, there's our D with our F sharp bass, and then we're going to play an F with a bar. Again, if you can't do a bar chord F, play a simple one. You'll get away with it because you're going to be singing, of course, so that'll cover anything. This is just for if you can manage your bar, do it. And then we're going to play a C. Now, unusually, we're going to play the C, but we're going to play an open E above it. Okay, because we're looking for this descending bass line. Okay, and our strum, and oh, what else have we got? We've got a C minor, which we'll play. Again, you're going to have to get your head around a couple of these little bar chords. It's only one or two. 3rd fret. There's your C minor there. And then back to your G. And then an A7 played like so. Again, paperwork will show you exactly how to do it. Okay, I'm just rattling through this. And then a D7th. And then conclude your verse with a G. Now, let me draw your attention to this bit here. Sometimes between your A7th, not all the time, between your A7th and your D7th, you'll see that the bar is split 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, all right? So make sure you're aware of that. The others, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and usually just on the same shape. Now, strumming wise, I want you to do this. I don't want you to try and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that, because when you're playing a slow song, it can be really difficult to do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so you'll notice there are like 8 little bits to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is exactly the same as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's more comfortable to play, and we want to try and get that sort of slightly piano-y sound. No, we don't want to go like that. We want to go 2 and 3 and 4 and put a little bit of a push on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then on the last hand after the 4, while you're changing chord, you can put a little, you know, a little kick in it. Take the 1. We'll get to it. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, don't worry if you hit open strings when you're changing. We all do it without even knowing it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so that's the verse, and they're all the same. So if I was to put the lyric to that, if I can find them, bear with me, let me just find the lyric. We've got, come on, Rob. We've got, when the rain is blowing in your face. See the way that do sounds great. And the whole world is on your case. I would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. And I like to put a few little embellishments in there if I'm playing on my own or for you. So what was I doing then? You know, that looked really complicated and really difficult. Well, it wasn't. It was dead easy. Watch this. I'm going to go 1 da 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 da. How am I doing it? I'm going to hammer onto the 5th string. You don't have to do this. It's just optional if you see me doing it. Hammer onto the 5th string at the 7th fret. Hammer onto the 4th string at the 2nd fret. And then hit the 4th string again. But now hammer back onto the 5th string at the 2nd fret. So you see that? Just important, that one. I'll do it slowly. There's your hammer. 4th string hammer, all with the same finger. and then hit the 4th string again, but hammer back onto the 5th string, and then finally hammer back onto the 5th string again. 1 and 2 and so 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I sort of put a bit of dampening. See the way I'm sort of. It's good, great to do it in different things. So whenever you get a little gap, you can put that in. That's how you do that if you watch me fiddling around playing that at the beginning. So the middle of the song. I know you haven't made your mind up yet. Now, I've got a simplified C like this. If you're going to play the simplified version of the C, we don't really in this part of the song want to hear that open E as we did in the verse. Okay, so if you're used to playing your C like that, that's okay, but try to mute your 6th string, or you can play it with a full C like this. Okay, I'll play it with a full C. Again, same strum. I know you haven't made your G. Now, getting from G to B7th, if you're playing your G the way I do it, like this, then this 2nd finger can stay where it is and you swing around. So use that as a little pivotal point, swing around, and then you build your B7th. 1, 2's already there, there's your 3, and there's your 4 down there. Okay, so there's our B7th, and again it's 2 beats on each of these 2 chords, B7th to C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you play your C like that. I would suggest you play your C like that after the B7th, because your 6th string should always be muted on B7th anyway. And then back to G. I'll do that again. C. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. You can do that, or you can do this, which is I nicked off, well, it's not a nick, it's a little run going from G to C, which Paul Simon used in Feeling Groovy. I'll show you what that is as well. 1 and 2 and 3 and, no, can you see I've got my 1st finger on the 2nd string of the 1st fret. I'm muting my bass note. I'm muting my 1st string with this finger. So 1 and 2 and 3 and then I'm going to put these 2 fingers here on the 5th string and the 2nd string of the 3rd fret. It's not that much of a disaster if you hit the E. It sounds quite nice actually. Let me just try it. Yeah, don't worry about muting the 1st string. When I've just listened to that, it sounds quite nice, because some of you'd have trouble. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but you must mute the bass string. So I know you haven't made your mind up yet, B7, but I would never do you wrong. And I know that from the moment that we met, A7th, da dee 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 da 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 da. And then I'm going to do a little run on the D7th, a bit like I did on the, what was the song we did on Saturday? You've Got a Friend. Similar to that. I'm on D7th. 1 and 2, and I'm going to take these 2 fingers and I'm going to slide up. And then I'm going to go back. So, and then I'm going to hammer on the same 2. And then play them open. So I'll do that again from the G, from the A7th. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and da dee dee da da da, and so on. All right. Now you'll notice that the full layout for the song is here. It's all laid out. You can't cock it up. All right, you really can't. In fact, you know, you'll probably learn it better than me. I've only just put this together for you. All right. You know why I've done this one? I watched that Bob Dylan film the other night, and it was brilliant. And it just reminded me of what a stunning songwriter this fella was. You know, I mean, I remember Tambourine Man thinking, oh, a song by the Byrds, and then I found out some years later, oh, it wasn't, it was Bob Dylan. You know, a lot of kids who heard Adele singing Make You Feel My Love, this one, you know, they thought, oh, that's hers. It's not, it's Bob Dylan. In fact, Billy Joel was the first person to record this song. He heard it. It was sent to him before Bob Dylan had recorded it on his own album. And it was sent to Billy Joel saying, what do you think of this song? And he said, can I do it? He did it first. But I say 450 people have covered this wonderful song. And it's definitely one you should do, all right? It's a lovely, lovely track. And it's easy to play. Now, all those little embellishments I put on, you don't have to do that. You can just go like this. When da dee da ba ba bam bam bam. I'll just play a straight D. F da da ba ba dee da dam. C da dam. D C minor dee da dee da bam. Dee da 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 bam bam. Now watch this right hand. When the dee da. When you start getting into the second half of the song, you know, for verse 2 or 3, but you'll notice my hand never stops moving in the same way. And then when you want to build it, think of all the way a drummer would do it. And so on. And then you'll just end the song, you know. How do we end it? Let's have a quick look. I think it just does a couple of things at the end. To make you feel my love. That's all it is, isn't it? It just ends like that. Let me just double check. Yeah, it does. Good end of the earth for you, to make you feel my love. Do you see the way that little thing at the end? Anyway, you know, you end it how you want, but just the song is brilliant. Learn how to do it. Now, for those people who can't sing it in that key, you can say maybe it's a bit high. This is why I use the capo. So, you know, I'll put it there then. When the rain's blowing in your face. Now, you may say, well, what if it's a female singing it and it wants to be higher? Well, think of octaves. Take it off. When the rain is blowing in your face, and the whole world is. So you can use the octave, and then if it's still too low for an octave, you know, you can bring it in. That's why the capo's there, okay? That's why I used it. It gives options for moving around without changing all the chord shapes. All right, so there we are. Make You Feel My Love, the beautiful song. Probably one of his better songs, I think, you know. And it's an unusual lyric coming from Bob Dylan. He was a big softie, really, wasn't he? When you think about it. Right, there we are. Make You Feel My Love. Next lesson. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to do something on the electric, I think. We'll do something a bit more, you know, mix it up a little bit. Okay, thanks again for the tea coffee. If you want to do a donation, thanks button down below. Thanks again to all my Patreon supporters who keep this stuff coming to you now, because it gives me the time to put all this stuff together for you. So thank you to those people. And I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Give this one a go. Share the hell out of it, because it's all my work. All this paperwork's mine. Do it as you wish. And all I ask you to do is subscribe if you haven't already done so. For those, excuse me, for those that older ones, I think subscribe means you pay something. You don't. You just click a button and then it'll let you know when I put something up, which is a lot, because I try and do 2 a week. Right, until then, see you next time. Bye bye.